Crash Bash runs flawlessly on the little Miyoo Mini Plus. I haven't seen any frame drops and the colors are awesome. I was quite curious about how it would perform since there are 3 CPU characters, 4 3D models, and different particles exploding all the time. What, believe me, is quite surprising. The original Crash Bandicoot had basically to hack the PS1 in order to run. The developers said that, not me. Crash Bash is a Mario Party-like game, except with Crash characters. It is the 5th title in the Crash Bandicoot series, and the first one not to be developed by Naughty Dog, but Eurocom Entertainment Software along with Cerny Games. It's also the first one in the party genre. The gameplay consists of 28 minigames divided into 7 categories with multiple variations each. Since this is an important game for me, let's put the Miyoo Mini to the test. The Miyoo Mini Plus is my favorite handheld emulator for the time being, especially for its performance size proportion. As soon as you open up the game, you're greeted with the game title and this iconic nostalgic soundtrack. Right in the childhood. The game then lets you pick between Adventure Mode, which is basically the story campaign, Battle Mode, where you can create custom battles, Tournament, which is pretty similar to how it works in race games. You know, you play 7 different minigames, the game assigns you a rival, and whoever makes more points at the end wins. The first cutscene tells the general idea of the storyline. Basically, there's the good mask, the one you get in the classic games, and the bad mask, Ooga Ooga and Uka Uka, or something like that. They're not agreeing on how things should be done and can't fight each other either because reasons? So they have to put their champions to fight in order to know who's the best, good or evil. It's as simple as that. The good characters are Crash and Coco, and the bad ones are the villains. The good mask says the bad mask has too many, so it gives some to them, and yeah, that's it. Good, now let's play. The gameplay starts on a level selection platform similar to that one in Crash 2. It's pretty much the same thing. So I chose to begin with the first one, called Crash Ball. Basically, you gotta shit the balls into the opponent's goals. Each player starts with a score of 15, and each time a ball goes through a player's goal, their score will drop by 1 point. By pressing the square button, the player can use kind of a Shira Tensei in the ball. The one thing I was surprised though is how good the graphics in this level in specific look. Knowing it's the first level of the game, you would expect the developers to want to cause a good impression. But this? Nothing feels cheap and lazy here. Look at these reflections and neon lights. The sound effects are solid and well chosen as well, in my opinion. I'm not hard to impress, am I? In this first match, I found out the CPU is kind of dumb and not really hard to beat at all. Maybe because it's the start of the campaign? I don't know. It's almost as if there were 3 annoying kid cousins wanting to play with you, and you happen to have the PS multi-tap and you got this. See? So having 8 points ahead of everyone, I won the first match, and each level consists of whoever wins 3 times first. So let's keep playing. In the second match, Koala Kong had too many points for my liking, so I had to do something about it. Well, then I redirected all of my hatred and skills and focused all my attacks on him, and bam, I won, yay! Talking about koalas, did you know that the 3 animals considered to be the protagonists of Crash 1 were the Wombat, the Potaroo, and the Bandicoot? Well, we all know how that turned out. Mainly because the developers wanted a lesser known animal to be in the spotlight, just like Sega did with Sonic the Hedgehog. The third round was also pretty easy, and then we were done. Roaming around, I noticed that only one portal was purple. Turns out that one takes you to the next level, and in order to do so, you gotta have 4 trophies, so 3 more to go. I took then the portal that was next to it, the minigame called Jungle Bash. This is the most simple Mario Party minigame clone can get. There are stone boxes and special boxes. Your objective is to throw stone box in your adversaries to lower their life. Red explosive boxes do more damage, and you shall not touch the green boxes, they're antisocial. Holding the circle button makes you grab and throw a box. But I took a concerning amount of time to notice that pressing the square button makes you spin and move a box without having to grab it. What happens is that this moving box also does damage, so cool. You can also directly spin attack an enemy, but that doesn't do much damage. The first round was quite easy. The second round, not gonna lie, gotta be challenging. Me and Dr. Nitro's Briol were not getting along well, and I was about to lose for the first level adversaries, but everything ended up well, so I won the second round of the boxes minigame. Speaking of, these iconic boxes in the Crash franchise actually were only chosen because at some point of development in the first game, they needed to add more elements to it other than fruits. Wumpa fruit to be specific. Adding more complex objects at that point of development would cause the PS1 to overload. So in order to keep the polygon count down and maintain a decent performance, they just changed the textures of the cubes and called it a day. So in the third and last round, I was basically a professional at throwing boxes at people I don't like. And I achieved my third win and a golden trophy. Back to the level selection stage, I took the nearest one again, and I remember that name. Polar Panic is probably the best game to play on a couch with your friends. It mixes perfectly the feelings of excitement, precision aiming, attacking, fear of charging too much, and revenge. This minigame is pretty simple. Here you're stuck in an iceberg and everyone's mounting that bear from the second game. Touching the peripheral ice cubes will make them break and open the possibility to fall and get eliminated. So you gotta try to push everyone and not miss, otherwise you could lose the match instantly. The CPU was the most stupid it could be, and the first round was a piece of cake. As the game goes on, there's this, I don't know what's that, a camera maybe. It flashes a red beam that once touched can either get you a good perk like striking lightning on everyone's head, or a bad one like dropping a huge weight on you. That makes the game more fun, since you never really know if you should get the power or avoid it at all costs. One thing I don't really get is why Crash is smiling all the time everywhere. I mean, he's energetic, but for some reason he looks straight up stupid the whole time here. In the first game, when Crash himself was being created, it was really a top priority to give him convincing facial expressions, since famous characters at the time like Sonic or Mario were not able to have expressions at all. So it would really be a competitive advantage, and it worked out. I mean, look at his face. Once again, I got into a clash with Dr. Nitro's Brio in the second round, but after a huge combo and great strategy plan, I owned him and got another victory. What gave me another golden trophy? Time to try Pogo Painter. This is kind of the Splatoon minigame. Here everyone has a pogo stick and the main objective is to paint the most squares you can. But there's a catch. The only way that turned your squares that were painted into actual points is to touch that purple box. So sometimes you'll be forced to choose between that and a power-up. That can either be a rocket that will be fired at someone or a super duper coffee boost that will make you jump way faster and is super broken in my opinion. I found out that during the match, if I managed to basically ignore the rockets and focus on getting the speed boost or the purple box, the one that popped up first, I'd be good to go. Oh, there's also these little arrows that paint a whole line depending on where it's facing at. You should also ignore those when there's either a box or a speed boost nearby. I think this arena may feel just too tight. On one side, that causes a chaotic effect with action all the time and things happening, but on the other, it just doesn't give you much creativity and options to play with. Just keep moving and grab whatever crap pops in if you can. As expected for the first levels, I won the first 3 rounds and got the golden trophy, which allowed me to take the purple portal. Aku Aku greets you saying congrats, but now you gotta defeat Papu Papu in order to keep playing, pretty much like you had to do in the first game. Which, did you know that during its development, Crash 1 was referred to as Sonic-ass game? That's because the camera angle provided us a privileged view, which was a damn bold move. I mean, basically every popular platform game was a side-scroll 2D Mario-like. They were innovating here, and all of that to be accused of copying Super Mario 64. Like, imagine having to announce a game at E3 in '96 the same time and event as the Nintendo 64 along with Super Mario 64. Like, they did something there. Papu Papu modifies the scenario to damage you, but if you can avoid everything, you're good. He spawns some minions that are basically mini crashes that are quite easy to handle, and then there's an opening for you to throw crates at him and damage him. What I didn't know was that I had assigned the circle button, which is the button to hold the crate, as a turbo button in RetroArch. That means that even if I held the circle button, the game would think I only pressed it once and didn't hold it. What means I didn't know I could carry the crate until I was close enough to throw it. So what I thought I had to do was that I had to move around the box, spin it to make it get closer to Papu Papu, and then throw it. That of course takes more time and made me fail sometimes. So apparently there was no turbo button problem at all. What I thought I had to do was that I had to hold the circle button so Crash could hold the crate, and then release the circle button so then Crash would throw the crate. But playing the game a bit more, I found out that I had only to press the button once, and then Crash would hold the crate, and then I had to press it once again, so then he would throw it. So it was exclusively a get situation. No turbo button problems here. Enjoy the video. I had to try like 3 times and then eventually I defeated him and saved my game. Now, I, Virtue, am worthy of proceeding to Warp Room 2. I wonder what challenges wait for me there. I need a job. Thanks for the Buy Me a Coffee supporters, Alex Robbie 1174, Cynical Scorpio, and Jake the Hunter. That helps me to get more handhelds and create more content. Bye!